Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about the generational curse, being enmeshed in the narcissistic family and being the black sheep, the scapegoat, how it all plays out when you awake. This goes down to like the fourth generation in the family unit. Now, I do believe it can continue if at the fourth generation, people just continue to focus on those same pathways and cycles, meaning you can continue this forever and ever. The black sheep still may never awake. That's why they kind of separate them in this platform from the chosen, and then you have just the unawoke or the scapegoat. If you're a black sheep and a scapegoat but unawoke, then you are a complete victim. You're the victim because you're still under the spell. You're good individual doing good things, but you just don't realize your power, and you're getting used every day. You're getting drained every day, and you're gonna take care of and be enmeshed with these individuals your whole life. There's grace for waking up, but also there's your innate self and whatever your destiny is. Some people's destiny is stronger than others. So for the ones that awake, they basically are born into these families. And a lot of times you have several types of awakenings. This is what happens is you are kind of awoke at an early age, but you're not awoke to the complete breaking of the spell that you're under. You just have a lot of these ways about you that don't add up to the way the family is operating. So for instance, you're kind of the outcast from the jump because you don't share that energy. And that's why they're always flinging their emotions on you, and that you've been brought up and trained and groomed to be the family garbage bin, meaning everybody gets you to react and throws their emotions on you, or just throws it on you, and you just accept it all the time. And then they build an inferiority complex around you. And so anybody that needs to shake off their energy goes to the scapegoat, and they shake it off on them. And so that's how it works. And a lot of times you've been taught to be groomed to accept this stuff, but it still doesn't, it shows that you don't share their energy because they're always shaking their energy off on you and taking yours. So it shows that you have an ample amount of energy. But see, this is the thing. See, this is what it comes down to is this. You know why you're a generator? You're a generator because you operate in the emotional field, and your soul is built in love. And innately, it's in love, and it's in peace, and it's in long suffering, and helpfulness, and growth, and all of that. The problem is they overwhelm you and burden you down with despair. And so you kind of grow up under that bondage of despair until you awake, and that you're, kind of worthless, and you kind of get hopeless. I've been hopeless at times, going through certain years of my life, especially early in childhood. You can get hopeless because you have no fuel. I mean, you're just getting drained, and when you're a child, you don't know exactly where it's coming from, but you also know that you're being posted up as a failure all the time, and you're accepting it. But you got this fire inside of you. It just won't, you can't put it out. Not you. I mean, they can't. It's still burning, and, part of what you're saying to yourself is I can't wait till I can, have the opportunity to leave, so that I can, not have to be influenced and under this kind of bondage and under this kind of control. And, there's a lot of things, because what you'll find is that the few things that you had good in your life, your family members that are narcissists will come in, or the people around you that are narcissists, they'll come around and they will, they'll wreck it. So the few things that you were building up that were like giving joy to you, it's gone. They would wreck it because they would get involved. And that's why you got to be concerned about how close you let those people in. You know, when you back away from family, a lot of times what you'll do is you'll back way far away when you find out what's going on. But sometimes you can get drawn in closer and closer because you do have love in your heart and you do forgive them, you know. But, you know, you can't forget. You can't, a good policy is anybody that's been in your life that screwed you up, that you don't need to be with them anymore. I mean, they can, you forgive them and you just keep it moving, and you don't carry that, that kind of hate or anything in your heart. Sometimes it takes a while to get over because, you know, when you get to a level of awakening, usually what causes awakening is the trauma. It's the trauma that you were just completely used. It was like a Judas, you know. I mean, they got really close and you really cared about them and you really, you know, gave them everything. And then they, you know, blatantly, it's the betrayal. The betrayal, that's what really hurts after you've really, you know, cared for someone a lot. And that's usually what wakes you up to the narcissism completely. But a lot of times you'll wake up to like the way that these people operate, and then as a young age, and you're like, whatever, this is weird, stupid, the way they're acting. And the lies, the continual lies. And you're just like, why do you make things so difficult? Or anything they're involved in, or what you find out later is anything that you allow them to get involved in that you are doing, they'll wreck it. And they'll create lies, and they'll just cause trouble. And so you don't have time for that. To be blessed means that and to be a blessing is to not be around cursed individuals because they choose to be. But the generational curse is something that, you know, typically in the Bible it says that it's 4 generations. But I believe that if people stay unawoke and they like what they're doing, and you know, the black sheep doesn't wake up because they're not strong enough or they don't have will enough, maybe, then they're not going to wake up. They're going to continue the cycle. And I don't know if it continues for another 4 until something happens, or if it just kind of continues on until at that point some other scapegoat will break the curse and be chosen to do that. But my point is the generational curse is kind of what it is a lot of times there's cycles. There's cycles, just like the narcissist has cycles. Well, they're kind of like cycles that are enmeshed in the family, you know, just certain ways. And that's why you got to watch what they call culture today. You know, culture is, the short term for culture is cult, you know, so be careful. A lot of times, in a weird way, I understand that people like love culture for what culture is, the different communities, the different societies, the different, you know, ethnicities and things that people do different, and there's beauty to that, absolutely. And the foods and the styles that we do things, that's fine, that's cool. But there is a lot of things that in culture causes dividing or supremacy, like we're better than them, we do it better, you know. So you got to be careful with that. We want to be better than that, and we know that. But also, like, you know, well, sometimes you're taught to just do things because, you know, if you want to discuss things with the narcissist hierarchy in your family, the enmeshment, because that's a small cult, and all cult leaders are narcissists. And so narcissism is a cult. I mean, the way they run it, it's all the same. The same operation in a cult is run just like the family. And so what happens is they'll tell you that, you know, well, can we discuss it? No, just do as you're told. Why? Because I said so. That's the way we do things, you know, and that sort of thing. Those are the answers you get because, you know, they're very surface individuals, you know. And somebody spoke on, I heard yesterday that, you know, it's not that they lost love, but kind of did they lose curiosity first? You know, curiosity and love kind of go together, and there's something to say about that because there is nothing. They're all surface. They're flat with everything. There's no depth to a narcissist, and that's why when people say they're spiritually unplugged, meaning they're all flesh. That's why everything they get is from out here. So if everything you get is from out here, then you have to be completely on the flesh. And that's why they completely look like the enemy, Satan, because, I mean, as far as character goes. And it's because if they're looking for all their validation out there, and if you're looking for it all out there and not in here and up, you know, with God, then you're going to be all flesh. So you want cars, you want money, you want control, you want power, you want to, and you have greed, because if you want things from out here like that, you're going to have greed and jealousy. And see, this is how the construct is built. And then they have a fear of losing these things, because that's how the flesh works. That if I don't have this stuff, then I'm going to be in trouble. But if you're spiritually minded, then you know that God has you. And so it's better to be ethically correct and morally correct, and God will supply all of your needs according to his riches and glory, right? And so that's where the narcissist is, and that's where the construct is built. And there's nothing good in them, and that's why. It's because they're always seeking for outside everything. The scapegoat wakes up and breaks the generational curse. They start to also air it out a little, you know, like start to explain, because you're the truth teller and you're the healer. And that's why, you know, toxic people can come to you, and that's why you got to be careful. But when you have, when they start to air this stuff out a little, and that's why usually the matriarch or patriarch of the hierarchy that you were enmeshed with throughout your childhood, they usually hate you in the end, because you're kind of like defying everything that they built. And it's kind of self-destructing. You don't have to destroy it, because just walking away kind of kills it. And a lot of people will stay with them in those enmeshments. See, this is the thing, we're all built with truth. And that's where psychology, I think, is really getting it wrong. Is they like to say, well, they you know, they were meshed so much that it's like they don't know truth. And it's, I mean, at some point you can run it over to that point, but it didn't just happen, and nobody in your life can cause you to run it over that far on their own to like get you like that. You have to choose that you are attracted to it. And I was told this by somebody I was with, that I was never taught love. But you know, that's kind of a cop-out, I think, and that's part of the spell too. You know, the spell would always tell us to give them the benefit of the doubt. Well, another part of the spell is when they come to you and tell you they were never taught love, or if psychology will tell you that, well, they were never taught love, because love is a taught thing. I think that they just didn't like the love. It was considered weak to them, and the way that they were going, the direction they were choosing, that they liked and they were enticed by and they wanted to go with, was against having love. That's where that comes from, because nobody taught you love. Nobody taught me love. It's not like you I mean, a lot of times hate can cause people, if people grow up around, you know, people hating them, makes them double love. I kind of speculate that that's up for discussion. Some people have talked about it a little bit, but it's just something to keep in mind, that when you get out of the enmeshment, you know, if you haven't woken up, which is typical, then it's kind of like running a marathon. The baton is passed to whoever the narcissist is that you fall in love with, and they become your love partner. And that's why that whoever the matriarch or patriarch is in your family, if they're the narcissist, when you go out to get your love partner, that parent, the opposite parent of you, a lot of times doesn't like the narcissist that's taken over the, you know, in the role of being your love partner, because they're going to be taking away their supply. But nevertheless, when you break up down the road, they will be best friends, because you're not giving supply to either one of them. So they're siding up against you. And it's just kind of a common thing that I've seen a lot. And typically what you'll find, and what I found is that the first person that you will end up with in narcissism is a borderline. It's almost like it has to be this way. I don't know. But the one person that you can kind of have a relationship with, but it's very volatile, is a borderline. And sometimes borderlines don't cheat unless it gets rocky. They would cheat on you if the relationship starts to get rocky because they have abandonment issues. If you think that the borderline is tough, wait till you meet the narcissist hierarchy where you get into narcissism and then sociopathic, the psychopathies. Man, borderline ain't got nothing on them. And so, but it's usually, that's how I believe it works, the borderline. And then after you leave the borderline, then what comes is the next level, which would be kind of borderline mixed with narcissism, or they're just, you know, kind of, they all ebb and flow a little, but chances are it kind of works like that. And if you continue to be unawoke, that the next one that comes is going to be a greater narcissist, you know, as it goes up, mid-level, you know, greater, that kind of thing. That's my opinion of it, because that's what I experienced. And I've talked to other people that have several enmeshments and stuff, and that was the case. When you get into certain types of narcissism and psychopathies, you can't have a relationship with them. It's impossible because they're too volatile. But there's only so much you can do. If you're a pretty intuitive empath, they can't hide things, even if they're excellent at acting. Acting is acting, and an empath can see through that. No matter how good it is, eventually you're going to see through it. So it doesn't matter how great the narcissist is. At some point, you're going to see that they're fake, because actions and words got to match. And they have to be with you at some time. They can't be gone all the time. I mean, there's certain things that would just, it doesn't matter what level of narcissist they are or psychopathy. If you're an intuitive empath, you're going to pick up on these things. And in the case of the super empath, if they don't pick up on it when they're not living with them, as soon as you move in with them, they're going to know. Because the super empath waking up, sometimes, I mean, there's no way the narcissist could hide it once you're living together. So, give me a like, subscription, and thumbs up. Peace.